Hello, it's Kerry from the Simply Pretty Studio. Thank you for joining me today. I'm sharing with you another project using the Paper Pumpkin Joy to the World kit. It looks like this in its lovely box, and if you go back to the first video on this series, you will see the whole of the contents that are included. But to quickly run through, it includes a lovely stamp set, mini stamp set with lots of die cut pieces, and you have card bases in here, envelopes, twine, a little ink spot there in Just Jade, you've got dimensionals, you've got glue dots. There are lots of things going on in this kit, including these gorgeous gold die cut words as well. So all of the information on that is in the first video, where I actually show you how to create this card. So these are just some projects I've created outside of the ideas that Stampin' Up have already given us for this project kit. So I just made a few extra items, and they're not as clean and simple as the Stampin' Up ideas, but I'm not very good at clean and simple, so they are quite layered and textured, but that's how I like things. So I thought I would share my creations with you, and today I'm going to show you how to make this little treat pouch. It's really simple but quite a sweet gift. I've popped inside a candy cane. You could put some money inside here, a gift card. You could even pop a small piece of jewellery in there. Possibilities are endless, and it just slides into this little pouch like this. So I'm going to show you how this one goes together. Okay, so I'm using, for my actual pouch, I'm using a piece of Cherry Cobbler, and this measures 5.5 by 6 inches, and I've scored it down the middle at 2 3/4. And then I have a piece of Crumb Cake, and this measures 6.5 by 5 inches, and I've scored it landscape at 1 3/4 and 4 3/4. Then I've turned it portrait and scored it at 1/2 inch. Okay, so let's do a bit of cutting. Now, let's just crease these score lines to start with. Got my bone folder here, that would be much easier. Make sure the edges are straight. And then take this one while my bone folder is in my hand and crease that one. So that is just our center piece. Now on the bottom here, we are going to wedge out this center panel. Like this. And I'm going to completely take off this end panel because we don't need that one. And then it simply goes together. In fact, we don't need this one on here either. Let's take that one off. I'm not sure why I thought I was leaving that on there. I think when I was designing this, I was trying to find a different way of popping this together. I'm going to simply take the end off my Tombow, pop a small amount of Tombow along that end and a small amount on there, and just glue that together, and Tombow on this bottom panel, and then just hold that one down for a moment just to ensure that the Tombow dries nicely. And there we have our little pouch, little pocket. And the beauty of this is you can get 2 of these from 1 sheet of A4. The same with the Cherry Cobbler as well. And I'm always really conscious about when I'm designing things that you can get the most out of your sheet of cardstock. So we can pop that just to one side for the moment. and we're going to bring back in this layer here. Now I've taken a piece of Whisper White cardstock. Let's have a quick look at the measurements. I've got Tombow on my thumb. See whether my small ruler is long enough. Now I've got a hair on my finger. Bit of fluff. I mean, look at those inky hands. That's a sign of a productive day, isn't it? So this white piece here, which is the inner piece, is 5 3/4 by 2.5. This one's just going to sit inside here. And then I've chopped up one of the envelopes. So I've literally, if I grab one from the kit, I popped it in my trimmer and trimmed off each edge so that this bottom piece just opened out. And I've been using pieces of this, and I need to cut a strip that's about an inch wide. So let's just pop this in my trimmer. Oh, it's a bit long. Just going to snip off the end because we don't need that bit anyway. Just pop it in there, line it up to 1 inch, and just cut that off. And put that back in my box because I will be using the rest of that at another time. And I'm just going to add some Tombow. Let's cut this roughly to the width, and then we can trim off the excess once we've glued it. So just some Tombow on the back of here. Hello, Alfie. And we'll just lay this, oops, that's upside down. Lay this just up from the bottom. Looks a bit crooked. Does look a bit crooked. Look, my writing is crooked. Never mind, we'll go with it. We'll go with it, and then I'm just going to trim off. That's got Tombow on that bit, so I have to be a bit careful. I'm going to do a better job of that and go a bit closer. And then I've got a bit overhanging on that side as well. Get rid of all these pieces and just quickly wipe that bit of Tombow off my thumb that everything is sticking to. My hands, honestly. You can tell it's Christmas, can't you? It's Cherry Cobbler everywhere. So we can now stick this layer down, bit of Tombow on the back. Alfie's under my table, wandering about. He's gone to lay on his bed now. Okay, pop that to one side for the moment. Okay, so next I've already die cut a circle, and I've used the Layering Circles dies. You can use whatever size circle you've got. If you've got one of our circle punches, that would probably work quite well. I'm just going to bring in my sponge mat, and from the stamp set, grab that out of my box, throw all these pieces back in. I need to find the wreath, and I need the words "To the World" and also the berries. So we'll pop the wreath on a D block. Oops. And pop the berries on and mount our greeting as well. And then I'm taking the Just Jade ink. This is the large classic sized ink pad that we do. In the kit you get included the Stampin' Spot, but because I've already got this open, I'm going to use my everyday ink pad, and I will save this and probably gift it to somebody who might be wanting to try this colour. It's turning into one of my favourite greens. So let's ink up the wreath. I'm going to stamp it down onto my die cut circle. Isn't it just lovely? And then I'm using Cherry Cobbler for the berries. So just with that little berry stamp, I'm just going to ink up some random berries on the outside and the inside of the wreath. Doesn't matter where you put them, it doesn't really matter how many you put, it's your card, so you do whatever makes you happy. So I've just randomly stamped some on here. Now while I've got my inks out, I've got a little strip of just jade cardstock, and this is about 3/8 of an inch in width, and this is just something that I've grabbed from my scrap bag. So I have, let's choose the right colour, I have scrap bags for the majority of our colours that we carry with Stampin' Up, and I'm always going to them. So even if you think something is just too small to keep, I mean, don't hoard all of it, but hoard as much as you can, because you will find a use for it, I'm sure. So I've just stamped down there to the world. I'm going to snip off the ends. And as previously, I'm going to use my banner punch to do like a little flag tail. So I'm just marking the centre so that when I pop it into my punch, I can line up this little line with this part of the punch. That doesn't look very central to me. So I'm going to go just above. It's quite hard doing this one. You're not over your project. I think that will do. That's not too bad. Actually, it is. I'm going to take a little bit off of this end. Being the fussy person that I am, it looks a bit long on the one end. Tinsy bit more. I like it to be even and central. There. That pleases me. And what else do I need to do? I think that's all the stamping for now. So let's move my piercing mat out of the way, my foam mat. And I've pre-cut, using the square layering dies, I've just pre-cut this piece here, and I just want that lovely scalloped edge at the bottom. And the other piece that I had left, not quite long enough, I think, because I snipped the end off, didn't I, to put it in my trimmer. So I'm just going to cut another piece at 1 inch. And this piece roughly measures, I work in inches, approximately 3. So if I snip off one end, sorry, I'm working out of shot. I've got glue on my scissors now, which isn't fun. And then I want this to be roughly 3, and then I can trim off the edges. So it's a bit more than 3. So you can see I've got an overhang, but I'm just going to snip that off because I don't want it to be too short. And because it's slightly bowing, the chances are if I cut it at 3, it won't be wide enough. I'm going to pop some Tombow on the bottom of this layer. It's not very straight, is it? I'm going to straighten that up just slightly because it bothers me. I'm being fussy now. I'm being fussy. That's a bit better. A bit better. and I'm just going to lay that down to leave a little scalloped border like that. And then we're just going to stick this on the bottom of my pouch. So I know it's not going to be much wider than this scallop layer. And I'll just hang this one down at the bottom. Like that. Give it a good press down to make sure the Tombow is drying, and we'll just snip off the overhang on each edge. I'm going to pop some dimensionals behind my wreath circle because I just want it to stand out a little bit proud from the pouch itself. Left one behind, and then we'll layer this one just above that patterned line there. Couple of dimensionals behind here. I love the mini dimensionals. Don't know about you guys, it depends what I'm working on. Sometimes a bigger dimensional is much easier if you've got a larger surface to cover. And we're just going to hover this one somewhere down here like that. Now from the gold, I've got a joy hanging here. Now where is my little dot? So I've just left the dot behind for the J. Now to stick this one, you could stick it flat on here, which might make more sense really, but I wanted it to stand up slightly. So I snipped in to the edge of my dimensionals to cut some really skinny strips of this foam, and I'm just layering. I hope you can see this. Can I zoom in a bit? Just in a couple of areas so that it will stand slightly proud of the wreath. So one in the middle, and I'm tempted to put one down here as well, so I cut 4. Just lay that one down, and then I need a teeny tiny one for the gold dot. This could be tricky. Can you see I'm just literally snipping, stuck to my thumb, into this foam. I'm going to use my finger just to stick that. This is a bit fiddly. If you don't like fiddly faffy, just put a bit of Tombow on the back of this word and stick it straight down onto the wreath image. As I said, I just wanted mine to stand up a little proud. Right, let's add this on here and then try and take the backing. That's one thing I do love about our dimensionals, the backing comes off quite easily. Never have a problem. There, like that. And then to finish, I took my curvy dies. So if you've not seen these are an early release from the mini catalogue that's coming out in January. And I'm in love with this little leaf, so I just die cut a couple of those, and I used just jade, which coordinates, and I also used Sahara sand, which is just like a slightly lighter tone of crumb cake, because I just thought the crumb cake wouldn't stand out. So I'm just going to pop Let me just see where my dimensionals are behind here to see whether I need to chop them. I don't think I do. I think I'm just going to pop them straight in. So a little bit of Tombow on those 2 leaves. And I'm just going to pop that straight in like that. A bit more under there. Slide. And so then you're left with this pocket card. So you could write in here or stamp a greeting, and it kind of slides in nicely like that. And as I've said, you can decide what you pop in here, but I had some candy canes and I thought that would work quite well. So I'm just literally going to pull off, if one will pull off. No, I'm going to pick it up with my scissors, which have cardstock stuck to them, which is now stuck to me. I'm just going to pop a couple on the back just to hold it into place. I think I'm going to put one near the top on this one as well. And I'm just going to lay that one down and press it onto my card. And those glue dots will be just enough to keep it in place. And then that simply pops inside, and there we go. The treat is done. Let's just zoom back out. Sorry, that was a rather quick zoom then. Hope it didn't make you travel sick. And let's just do up these ink pads. So this project is, I think, quite simple, quite easy to put together. It doesn't use a lot of product. You can use up pieces from your paper pumpkin kit, but also you're finding another use for this lovely stamp set as well, which I just think is great. So my aim of these projects was to show you what else you could do with them. Even if you've used most of your kit and you've just got some scrappy bits left, you know, bits of envelope, you can still use the dies, the wreath stamp to create a lovely project. So there we go, that's my treat pouch. Thank you if you're joining me. Please do, if you've enjoyed watching my video, please do click the thumbs up to say that you've liked my video. It does help me. I'm trying to grow my channel, so if you would click the subscribe button, I would be truly grateful. And please just share and tell everybody, tell your crafty friends about my channel if you think, you know, they might enjoy it too. So thank you for joining me. If you'd like to purchase the kit, you can visit my online store. If you go to kerrytims.co.uk, there will be a link to my store on there, and you can purchase this kit for yourself. It's only available through until the end of November, so don't delay, and it is while supplies last, so we never know when it could be gone. So thank you again, take care, and I'll see you soon.